Hello, everyone. We've almost made it to Friday. I'm Chris Thomas.
I'm Laura Painter. Thanks so much for joining us on ABC10 Plus at 5:30. Let's start tonight with bringing you a live look at our nation's capital, where just this morning on Capitol Hill, contentious debate over the future of the cost of health care. Two major votes in the Senate today on whether to extend Obamacare premiums set to sunset at the end of this year.
Yeah, but both didn't pass, meaning the cost of health care remains in limbo. Both the plan by the Senate Republicans and a proposal by Senate Democrats failed 51-48, mostly on party lines. The Republican plan called for depositing money directly into health savings accounts of those under the lowest tiers on the state exchange. It also blocked using that money for abortion or gender transition procedures. The Democratic proposal will extend the ACA tax credits for 3 years.
And the most common question I hear is, what am I supposed to do? And I don't have good answers for them. Less people are coming in and enrolling. New enrollment is down more than 30% compared to the same time last year.
Jessica Altman is with Covered California, the state insurance marketplace under the ACA. Altman has been warning that because fewer tax credits means higher premiums, monthly premiums for 2 million enrollees are expected to increase an average of, listen to this, 97%. Covered California says more than 1.8 million Californians have already enrolled, most of them renewing for 2026 coverage.
Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem was in the hot seat today as she testified at a House committee meeting defending the Trump administration's immigration policies. But just as she started, protesters stepped in.
Very privileged and honored today to have my family with me. I'd like to introduce them to you.
Disruptions of congressional business is a violation of law, is a criminal offense under federal law. Audience members are advised to take their seats and maintain order.
Her testimony today focused heavily on immigration policies, whereas in years past, the hearing has centered on issues such as terrorism, cybersecurity, and China. Republicans backed Noem on the stand while Democrats questioned her, even making calls for her to resign.
But you have systematically dismantled the Department of Homeland Security, put your own interests above the department, and violated the law. You are making America less safe. So rather than sitting here and wasting your time and ours with more corruption, lies, and lawlessness, I call on you to resign.
The hearing was Noem's first public appearance before Congress in months, and she emphasized how big a role she believed immigration played in, quote, worldwide threats to the homeland. When it comes to the race for California's next governor, a majority of California still remains undecided about who they will vote for.
Now, we know there's still plenty of time before the primaries in June, but guess what? The list of candidates is continuing to grow. As a matter of fact, another name is now in the race.
So let's bring in To The Point host Alex Bell, who just sat down with him today. So Alex, tell us a little bit about John Slavitt, because honestly, I don't think a lot of people have heard his name before. Who is he?
Well, that's great, because I said, look, a lot of people are going to be meeting you for the first time. So he is a Bay Area Republican, an entrepreneur, a CEO, and a father of 5. I was like, man, he must be very busy. And get this, one thing that I found interesting during our conversation, he has a podcast where he goes around and talks to a lot of people. He actually interviewed his 2 now opponents, Chad Bianco and Steve Hilton, on his own podcast. Yes. And I was like, well, that must have been an interesting conversation. This was before he decided to enter. But I'm like, he was getting some information there. But look, when I talked to him, he said California's main issues are really man-made. He feels like it's been years of bad policy just layered on top of one another. But he feels like his experience can really give a fresh perspective. So I do want to take a look at something that he said earlier today.
I'm running on my own ideas and my own proposals, my own energy.
What do you mean your own ideas?
I'm not running to serve a party, I'm running to serve regular people. So my observation of California politics the last generation is that everything's been set up to serve a set of interests.
And he doubled down on that message. He was like, look, I'm not here to serve a party. I'm here for policies to help regular people. And that was his big message. And he really talked about affordability. Many of the candidates, except for maybe 2 that I've talked to, really say affordability is the key issue. So don't be surprised if you continue to hear that from here on out.
As they say, all politics is local, right? We've seen that on the national stage as well. I know you'll have that full interview coming up tonight at 6:30 on To The Point. So what can people expect to learn in that interview?
Well, we have his top 3 priorities, of course. You know, what is he really running on? And then I asked him, you know, people are going to see his name, hear a little bit of his resume, and then wonder, like, look, here's another businessman running into the race for governor. How is he going to combat the people that are saying, look, does he have the gravitas to know policy, connecting with constituents, people that might write him off just because he is a businessman? What does he have to say to that? So we have his response on that.
And yet sometimes people want someone with a fresh start, an outside perspective.
Very true, too.
Yeah, very crowded race so far.
Oh, yeah, to say the least.
Okay. All right, Alex, thank you.
Thanks.
Well, the man accused of killing conservative political commentator Charlie Kirk appeared in court today. Tyler Robinson is facing several charges, including aggravated murder and felony use of a firearm. He has yet to enter a plea. The 22-year-old surrendered to authorities 1 day after the fatal shooting on the campus of Utah Valley University in September. The hearing was focused on things like public access to the case. His widow, Erica, has called for the case to be open to the public in order to lessen potential conspiracy theories about the investigation.
6 people are hurt after a gas explosion started a fire in San Francisco today. We are working to learn their conditions tonight, but here's what we know so far. A spokesperson with PG&E says a construction crew, which were not their workers, damaged an underground gas line this morning that was later repaired. They say the explosion happened shortly after, shaking a Hayward neighborhood. At least 2 homes were majorly impacted by the fire.
Turning now to continuing coverage of that mass shooting in Stockton. It has now been 12 days since 4 people were shot and killed and 13 hurt. Investigators say at least 5 suspects opened fire at a child's birthday party. It happened inside a banquet hall on Lucille Avenue. ABC 10's Gabriel Porras has the latest.
We're learning that for now, no more names will be added to this memorial here at the scene of the tragedy. The sheriff's office told me that as of Thursday, there are no longer any victims in the hospital. None of the shooters are in custody, but 2 people who attended the party are, and just on Thursday morning, one of them was in court. The bullets began flying right as they were about to cut the cake, witnesses say. Nearly 50 shell casings from 5 shooters, according to investigators. In the end, 4 lives taken and 13 hurt during an event meant to celebrate a 2-year-old. In nearly a dozen days, investigators haven't determined a motive, but new court records shine a light on the investigation, saying, quote, several gang members associated with multiple gang sets within the Stockton area were present at the time of the shooting. Prosecutors say that includes a 2-year-old's own father, Luciano Guerrero.
He's only here today because he threw a birthday party for a child that he loved. And somebody else decided to interrupt it in perhaps the most inhumane, hostile way.
Guerrero and attendee Billy Williams arrested just days after the shooting on parole violations. Both, prosecutors say, are gang members. The sheriff's office says neither are suspects in the shooting and hasn't confirmed that the shooting was gang-related. But the county's former top prosecutor says
it sure has all the indication that this was a gang-related shooting in retaliation for something.
Former DA Tori Verber Salazar says if it was gang-related, there are reasons the sheriff's office might not say so.
If you come out and say it is a gang-related hit, people are going to be even less cooperative, and they're going to be more reluctant because of fear.
This case also has one key difference.
A lot of the hierarchy in these gangs are incarcerated and unable to physically protect their families. And so the rule has always been women and children were off limits. When I think about the individuals that committed these crimes, I don't know if it was an authorized retaliation or was it an unauthorized, and they went rogue and thought they'd make a name for themselves and do something quite hideous.
All ideas that investigators say they're looking into as the grief continues.
We need to go back and retrack our steps and say, okay, how can we do more? What can we do? How can we make sure this never happens again?
Seeing this memorial, that is what so many are wondering as well. Back in court on Thursday morning, Guerrero was denied bail. He does have 2 cases pending unrelated to the mass shooting, as again, the search for the person or people who did this continues. In Stockton, Gabriel Porras, ABC 10.
Gabriel, thank you. Guerrero's attorney declined to speak to us today. Both Williams and Guerrero also declined interviews at the San Joaquin County Jail. Now, deputies say they've received around 50 tips so far, and they're still looking through videos and pictures from that shooting. If you have any information, please call the number right there on your screen. It's 209-946-0600. You can remain anonymous, and the reward for information leading to an arrest is now at $130,000.
Coming up, a South Sacramento library finally reopens after a fire last year.
But first, we're heading on the back roads with John Bartell. He's catching a train at the Sacramento Valley Live Steamers. Next. Okay, so you never know what you'll see on the back roads.
So true. Tonight, John Bartel catches the train in Rancho Cordova to ride through the holiday display at the Sacramento Valley Live Steamers.
Well, all aboard the Santa Express. Every December, Old St. Nick comes right down here to Rancho Cordova to give good boys and girls a little ride on the Sacramento Valley steamer trains.
What do you want for Christmas?
PS5.
Good times and holiday spirits. That's what train fanatics at the Sacramento Valley Live Steamers have been hauling around behind them since 1972.
All right, yeah, the steam is flying today.
It is. A nice cold day really accentuates the steam.
Steamer President Steve Millward says the mile-long track crisscrosses the eastern edge of Rancho Cordova's Hagen Park, and it has a surprise around every corner.
There's a lot of, look at that, look at that. You know, they're enjoying everything they see along the way because there's a lot of trees, so you can't see around the corner. You come around the corner, well, there's another display.
On a busy weekend, more than 20 different locomotives might show up and pull passengers on those 7.5 gauge track that takes you along the American River, where you cross over bridges, pass by waterfalls, and go through tunnels.
This is a representation of a snow shed like you can see up in the Sierras. And this was built a number of years ago, but it's just an added attraction for the railroad.
Smile.
The 25-minute ride makes one stop along the way, so passengers can tell Santa what they want for Christmas. While you're there, you can also check out the much smaller model train displays. Steve says for over 50 years, the railroad park has inspired generations of families to experience locomotives on a small scale.
I think there's almost an ingrained interest in trains for kids, and they get out here, they can see it, they can touch it, they can smell it, versus seeing it on a video game or on a TV screen. This is the real thing for them.
From the Sacramento Valley Live Steamers in Rancho Cordova, I'm John Bartel. Hope to see you on the back roads.
You know, John always finds fun stuff for the entire family to check out.
Yeah, he really does. That was so stinking cute. Trains of all sizes. I love it.
So here's what you need to know. The Sacramento Valley Live Steamers Railroad Museum is open through December 14th. Then they're actually going to take a short break, but they do plan to reopen in January.
That is good to know. For more details, just head to the website abc10.com/backroads. You can also find more Bartel's Backroads destinations on the ABC10 Plus TV streaming app. They're all under the Shows tab. Just scroll down to Travel and Bartel's Backroads. Download the free app to your TV.
Well, the Fairfield Budweiser plant is set to close early next year. It's also closing a plant in New Hampshire and selling another in New Jersey. A spokesperson said the move comes after a review of U.S. operations, with production shifting to other locations. The company will offer full-time jobs at other plants to the 475 workers impacted. Those who don't transfer will receive severance.
It's been more than a year since a fire and smoke damaged a South Sacramento library, forcing it to close its doors. But now the Colonial Heights Library is back in a partial reopening.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hey! Oh, slow opening here, everybody.
Yeah, an exciting day. Basic library services like checking out books are available for now, and there will be a limited collection of books to start. But as you saw, they're excited and eager to come back after that fire started in their community room kitchen more than 16 months ago. Council member Eric Guerra says this is the most utilized library branch in the county for its size.
Well, next at 5:30, just look at that. The state of Washington continues to face flooding tonight amid an atmospheric river. And now the National Guard is coming in to help.
Are you ready to get out of those gray skies? We're about to see a big pattern shift when the rain and snow arrives.
Welcome back. We're continuing to track flooding in Washington state. Look at that. Heavy rain from an atmospheric river is creating potentially catastrophic flooding that's forcing water rescues, some by helicopter. Up to 100,000 people face evacuations as the flood danger continues. The state's governor has declared a state of emergency and even deployed the National Guard. And as you see here, they are working hard filling those sandbags in response to this significant flooding. So let's get you over to Chief Meteorologist Monica Woods. I know we haven't had nearly anything like that, Monica, but you are tracking rain in the forecast.
Right. We've certainly had our fair share of flooding in our past water years. This year, it's been pretty mild. We had a soggy November. It set the stage for all of the low clouds throughout the Central Valley. Storm track has been well to the north of us, resulting in some of that flooding. They are going to get a bit of a break, though, for the Pacific Northwest as the storm track starts to move our way. Highs for today, though, not much change. 40s up and down the valley, 50s for the coast, still looking at near 60 for the Tahoe Basin, almost up to 70 today for Placerville. That just shows you how strong that ridge is, and it is keeping us in a persistent weather pattern. As you can see, day after day, we've been struggling to even dig out of the 40s throughout the valley. We had that one day last week. We got to 62 degrees, but that was it for the month of December. And really, when you look at the 2-month period, this all started Thanksgiving week. Oddly enough, it's the holiday week heading into Christmas that's going to change things around. So here we go. What we're tracking. Dry Sierra. It has been warmer in the valley. A break coming is next up on the list with that storm track starting to shift. And that leads us to next week with rain and snow chances starting to increase with more and more confidence. This pattern shift is going to actually take shape. Temperatures right now in the 40s throughout the valley. We're in the 30s for Tahoe. All in all, we're going to stay status quo through the weekend outlook tonight included, with calm winds and very little air movement that will result in all of the clouds just hanging low. Here comes that big atmospheric river heading our way. It looks like right now Tuesday into Wednesday. So that will be the first couple of days that we really see some change coming into the outlook. This does have a nice little warm tap. So initially it is going to start off as mostly it looks like rain for the Sierra. There are some signals that we'll get some of that colder pocket of air coming in Wednesday late in the day, resulting in some snow. And then right into the holiday weekend, pre-holiday weekend, I should say, leading into Christmas, we will have another atmospheric river. It looks like we're going to be tracking this very closely. Timing on this kind of positive and negative because we get the snow potentially for this year, setting us up for a great ski and snowboarding week. But on the negative side of it is going to be travel situations. So that's why we're going to be keeping extra close eye on it. Again, model differences. The only difference that we see in here is not the chance of any rain. It's the chance of snow for the Sierra. A very important aspect of that particular storm. Highs in the 50s tomorrow for the Sierra, with 60s, even low 70s for parts of the upper foothills. We're in the 50s across the coast with 40s and 50s as we head inland. So again, pretty much status quo here. Not many changes through the weekend outlook. We see the changes starting to appear finally on that 5-day forecast, really revealed on our extended forecast, where we start to see the opportunity of rain showers picking up on Tuesday. And then it really is much of the same there for the back end of that 10-day forecast.
Well, here it comes.
Yes.
We've been waiting for this for a while. It's been the talk of the town. People can't get enough of the weather right now, Monica.
All right, we'll dig out the umbrellas and don't complain once we get it.
Oh, you know we will. We've been waiting
happen.
to complain, right? Okay. But we do need the rain, right?
Yeah.
We do at this point. Yeah, we need to get things going.
Okay, we're back after this.
All right, before we go, this is such a heartwarming story. It's one of our favorites, I know it is. Listen to this. A teenager in Citrus Heights now has his bike back after police tracked it down 3 weeks after it was stolen. Here are the details. Police say the officer followed a social media trail to find the $1,300 bike and recover it before it could be sold. The suspected thief was arrested in the investigation, wrapped with the bike returned to its 13-year-old owner, who we're told bought it with money he earned doing chores. How about that? One of the police officers who made this happen, Officer Patrick Monroe, tells us this made his holiday season. It makes mine too. All's well that ends well. And I like that he earned that $1,300 through doing chores.
Exactly. And here's the deal. Mom said that they are thankful to the entire department for helping them get that bike back. It means so much, especially around the holidays.
Oh, certainly. This is the time you don't want to be losing your
Not
really
your
nice
bike,
bikes.
right? Okay. Well, don't forget, you can watch us anytime, any day on your schedule on the free ABC10 Plus TV streaming app.